Germans, no surprise there.
Well, log emo out of Lucas. And a princess as well. Are we seeing a hint to his decks for today?
Hey, showing a goblin. There's 3 of them. Oh, never mind.
Skeletons and Knight both cycled. Mugi may be going... Oh, no, not with Barb Barrel. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, Mugi looking like he was ready for it just in case. Probably going to have a NATO, probably going to have a building in conjunction with that Ice Wizard.
So Hog triple spell for Lucas rather than 2.6 Hog Rider.
Yeah, you know, maybe a little bit more favorable of a matchup, but still going to have a lot to deal with here when you talk about Mugi's deck defensively.
And here you go, the Royal Giant to the right-hand side. Mugi might go with the Ice Wiz here behind these skeletons. Instead goes ahead and has to double down because of the Hog Rider coming in.
And that was a really beautiful sequence there by Mugi. Skeletons with the Barb Barrel, gets on top of the Archers. Perfectly timed NATO to mitigate 100% of the damage. Gets the King Tower activation. Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, that's a frustrating situation for Lucas because he sees the Ice Wiz, he knows he's against NATO, and is wondering, is there any way I can force the NATO to come out and give myself at least one Hog Rider on tower before you shut me down with that King Tower activation?
Yeah, and you know, Rich, I don't think this is a mistake, what we're seeing here. The cards chosen by Mugi, you look at, you know, what the responses are, and honestly, I think he was just waiting for Lucas to play Hog because Lucas loves to play Hog. So that Tornado is going to be more than enough for a very, very long time, and we'll see if Lucas maybe ends up changing this into more of a spell cycle game than a Hog Rider on tower game as we move into double and triple.
Well, he does want that. And you see the EQ work on the King Tower now that he's gotten 2 Hog Riders on King because of the NATO work. He does want that NATO to be played defensively. He does not want it played offensively to see his entire defensive sequence wiped out.
Yeah, that's a good well played there by Lucas. Mugi decides to eat the damage, save the Tornado, and now he's in trouble because this deck cycles around so quickly. Going to be able to get another Ice Wiz and Baby Dragon down. Now with the NATO locked, loaded, ready to go, Lucas's defense is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, this is going to be a big, big challenge, and that's why you saw the Hogs there. Maybe he goes for a Hog again, just trying to force the NATO on that side. Has plenty of damage on the board right now to hold on against the Royal Giant.
And that's a tough Earthquake, too. That was actually a really, really nicely played Earthquake. Cleans everything up. Still doesn't even have to use the Tornado. Still waiting in case Lucas does go offensive with the Hog Rider, but at this point, Lucas is just trying to defend for his life.
He might start going to the same lane. There you go. Yes, he does, because we have more damage on that side. And
man,
yeah,
the timing of those is just brilliant every single time here for Mugi. And, you know, Lucas probably not super happy with going Comfort.
Well, he might try to go with the Hog again here. He'd love to see if he can get a little bit more damage on that King Tower and maybe do his spell cycle on King rather than on Princess.
I mean, that would be a fascinating win to see. This time you see no NATO locked and ready to go. Hog Rider, 3 hits. Skeletons going to town on the tower. 870 down. Wow, Mugi sacrifices a mountain of damage to get a second Royal Giant down on the right-hand side.
Snowball doing a bit of work here for Lucas. The Knight working on that Royal Giant. 1 shot in from the RG. 2 shots in. Does it get a 3rd here? And yes, it does. That is bad news for Lucas.
Devastating for Lucas. Playing those skeletons just a little bit high, allowing the Ice Wizard to clean them off the board, and that just becomes a bit of a misplay. Needed to wait a second longer for that Ice Wizard to aggro on something else before the splash came out on those 1 elixir cards. 40 HP remains. We're in a spell cycle situation, and we're going to be going to the 1v1 set, all tied up.
Yeah, Lucas is trying to cycle his face off